All right, I'm going to call our meeting to order. This is a continued session from our January meeting. We have a regularly scheduled board meeting next Tuesday night. Probably one of the most important, it probably is the most important thing we do as commissioners is set our budget for the county, and this is our initial budget kickoff. So I appreciate all of y'all that have made the effort to be here on probably the prettiest day we've had all winter.
The only day we've been working 8 months, he called me.
So anyway, I appreciate all of y'all in attendance. We'll try and make this as quick and as painless as possible. So with that being stated, let's go ahead and kick off our mid-year financial review with Maury Home. Somebody heard from Commissioner Macon, Derek?
I talked to him yesterday, or the day before yesterday, and he was planning on coming.
Okay.
Nice.
So we'll get rolling.
I hadn't heard from him today.
Good afternoon.
Good Lord.
How are y'all? Good. So we're going to kind of just do the same format that we normally do, just kind of give you a little update as to where we are through the first 6 months of our fiscal year. We're going to talk a little bit about sales tax, our property and motor vehicle taxes, our general fund revenues, general fund expenditures, and then debt service.
Hang on a second. Well, he's speaking.
All
right, thank you. Go ahead, Lord.
Yeah. Wait a minute, what's this thing doing? Sorry. There we go. So this first slide just takes a look at our sales tax. If you'll recall, sales tax, there's a 3-month lag between when the sales taxes are actually collected and then remitted to the county. So as of December, this only reflects 4 months of revenues. So this is our July through October retail sales. And as you'll see, we're a little above 3.6 million this year for the first 4 months versus 3.5 million last year. At this time, fiscal year 19 is, for these first 4 months, is a little over 5% higher than last year. But I would also like to note that when you look at fiscal 18 first 4 months versus fiscal 17, it was actually up 7.19% at that time. So, I mean, of course, we're still tracking on a good trend, hopefully, and hopefully this trend continues as we move on into the fiscal year. Any questions on sales tax?
You still lagging how far behind? Or 3 months?
There's a 3-month lag, yes. So that slide I showed you just showed 4 months of revenue. This is showing all of our tax collections revenues for the fiscal year compared to budget. So this would include your current year taxes, your prior year tax collections, any interest, advertising fees, and attorney's fees. So at this point, our fiscal 19 actuals is about $756,000 more than last year at the same time. So of course that's a positive sign, positive number, because of course, as you know, for fiscal year 19, the tax rate, remained flat at the 34.9 cents. So that is a good sign that, collections are up about $756,000 over last year, same time. Sorry. There we go. This takes a look at our general fund revenues through December. So this fiscal year, we're at 30.7 million. Last fiscal year, same time, we were at 30.3 million. So right now, the revenue side, we are 367,000 ahead of where we were this year last time. And just to make a note, you see this revised budget number for 19 is at 52.9 million. So this revised budget does include, of course, amendments that have happened between July and December and is reflective of $1,271,000 of fund balance appropriated, which of course we started off the year appropriating $1,050,000 of fund balance. But then the other parts come into play at certain points in the year. You know, departments have to carry over funds that they might have received last year that must be spent for specific purposes and things of that nature. Any questions on revenues? And here we just take a look at our expenditures. So we're sitting at 23.2 for fiscal year 19 versus a little over 22 million same time fiscal year 18. So this slide shows that our expenditures are 1.2 million more than they were this time last year. So if you take a look at our fiscal year 18 revenues versus expenditures for the first 6 months of the year, revenues were exceeding expenditures by 8.3 million. This year, our revenues versus our expenditures are only exceeding them by 7.5 million. So that's a difference of about $840,000. Any questions on those expenditures?
How much of that is insurance, do we know that?
How much of?
How much of it's insurance?
Uh,
Well, the health insurance
That's a chunk of
fund,
it.
the health insurance,
500,000 in the fiscal year.
Right.
Fiscal year.
Right.
yeah, but the health insurance fund is a separate fund from the general fund.
It's like the enterprise fund.
It's like the enterprise fund.
Well, it's an
By itself.
agency fund. But yeah, we did have to increase our budget by $500,000 to cover insurance. So this would be reflective, of course, of half a year of those increased premiums that we transfer over to that health fund.
Okay.
But we have not made any kind of one-time contributions to the health fund out of the general fund as of this point. And then the final slide, I know you guys always like to see, you know, where we are with our debt portfolio. And when Mitch with Davenport gets up here, he'll talk a little bit about our debt and debt capacity. But if you can, as you can see in fiscal year 20, we're going to have a slight increase in payments of $52,000. And that is due to the South Macon loan. We issued it in July. And it's semi-annual payments, so we only have one payment due in current fiscal year. And of course, moving forward, we'll have 2 payments every fiscal year. So that's why you see the slight increase in fiscal 2020. And of course, this is just based on our current debt as it is as of today. You know, doesn't take into account, you know, any future thoughts of, you know, issuing debt. So, but as you can see, of course, and as Mitch will talk about more, we will have capacity moving forward, you know, as we continue to make our regular principal and interest payments on our outstanding debt. And that's all I have, unless you have questions.
Thank you, Larry. Any questions?
Thank you.
Thank you.